Morning, everyone, and welcome to the NALEO 40th Annual Conference here in fabulous New York City. Please rise as you are able for the presentation of colors presented by the New York City Police Department's Ceremonial Unit, and remain standing for the singing of the National Anthem performed by artist Elaine Tejeda.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the
Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. Please welcome this morning's MC to the stage, the Honorable Gustavo Rivera, New York State Senator and NALEO's second Vice President.
Muy buenos días, everyone. Let's give one more round of applause to the NYPD Ceremonial Unit for their service, and to Miss Elaine Tejada for her beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Let's give it up for her. I'm honored to welcome you to New York City, and I'm pleased to say that for the first time ever, the NALEO Annual Conference is being held in my beautiful city of New York. And I don't know if you know this, but because of your enthusiasm, the NALEO 40th Annual Conference sold out in early May, which was incredible and unprecedented. We've actually never done that. So we're incredibly excited. We're incredibly excited for this year's conference and have assembled an incredible lineup for you for the entire week. So we're going to get things started by giving, and I want you to give a warm New York welcome to our president, the Miami-Dade County Commission for Women board member, the NALEO president, the Honorable Luby Navarro.
Good morning. Thank you, Senator, for such a warm welcome to the Big Apple. Hello, everyone, and welcome. With this gavel, is everyone seeing the size? I hereby declare the 40th Annual Conference has officially begun. I'd like to thank all of you for your continued support of NALEO and the NALEO Conference for over the years. Whether this is your first conference or your 10th time, we're so happy to have you. As the largest nonpartisan gathering of Latino leaders in this country, the NALEO Conference is truly one of a kind. It seems rare these days to engage in respectful, productive dialogue with people from across the nation and the political spectrum. But this is the beauty of the NALEO Annual Conference and the power of the NALEO network. These strengths are invaluable as we come together to address the challenges our country continues to experience, from the economic uncertainty to the extreme weather and natural disasters. As Latino leaders, we have the opportunity to come together to address these challenges and move our nation forward. And the work happens right here during the 40th Annual NALEO Conference. So whether it's your first time here as a conferee or a longtime attendee, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, independent, or another affiliation, and whether you serve at the local, state, or federal level, thank you for being here. Everyone in this room is part of the NALEO network and has the power to affect change that will ripple through your communities and throughout our nation. This is why, during our 3 days together, I encourage you to challenge yourselves and ask questions and think about ideas and new perspectives. An open mind is the best gift you can give yourself and those of us around us, your peers. Along these lines, I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone of the NALEO standard, a pillar on which our work is based on. Disagreement and discussion are okay. Disrespect is not. The NALEO network is successful because we respect the thoughts, opinions, and ideas of the people around us. So for your reference, the NALEO standard is printed on your conference badges and housed in the mobile app. Please take a moment to review it at your convenience. And now, to kick off the NALEO 40th Annual Conference, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen for video welcome remarks by the 46th President of the United States of America, Joseph R. Biden, Jr. Give us a minute until we resolve the technical difficulties.
Ladies and gentlemen, please bear with us as we correct some technical difficulties. We appreciate your patience and understanding.
For almost 50 years, NALEO has embodied the promise of America, that we all are created equal, deserve to be treated equally throughout our entire lives. My dad used to have an expression. He said, "Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay." Everybody deserves to be treated with dignity. It's about time we started treating Latinos with the dignity they deserve, like every other American. Latino community is America's future. 25% of public school students speak Spanish at home. 25%. Together, we've made progress to make real the promise of America. We've created 13 million new jobs just since I became president, more than any president ever has in 2 years, including 800,000 manufacturing jobs. Under my administration, we cut Latino child poverty in half. We're not stopping now, though. Latino unemployment has been at historic lows, while business starts are booming. Since I came to office, unemployment for Latinos has gone from 8.5% unemployment to 4%. We've increased Latino access to high-speed internet, reliable public transportation, clean drinking water, and so much more. More Latinos have health insurance today than ever before, and we've begun to cut drastically prescription drug costs for all seniors. An example, seniors needing insulin for their diabetes now only have to pay $35 a month instead of $400 a month. I'm going to expand that so everyone's covered. I've made the largest investment in history in Hispanic-serving colleges and universities. I've appointed more Latinos to the bench than any president ever has. And there's much more to do. My administration looks like the community. After Uvalde, I signed the most significant gun safety legislation in 30 years, but we're still not there yet until we ban assault weapons and increase background checks. DACA was a very proud achievement of the Obama-Biden administration, but we need to do more. I'm calling on Congress to provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers and essential workers to help build America. And across the board, I want you to know, I see you, I value you, and I'm not going anywhere. I'll never stop fighting for you, I promise you. Have a great conference. We have a lot more to do.
Thank you so much to the President Biden for providing these remarks. Our organization continues to appreciate the ongoing relationships we foster with our highest nation's leaders at the highest level of government. I would now like to introduce another special guest this morning to help welcome us to this beautiful city, the Big Apple. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage New York City's Mayor, Mayor Eric Adams. I think this is confused. I think this is Senator.
I know you're all confused. The mayor is on his way. He's not here yet, but he will be. I wanted to confuse you when I came back on stage. He will be here shortly. We will get back to the normal program. But I wanted to let you know, so that was all. Thank you. I'm not Eric.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Senator, for keeping us on track. So we will be seeing the mayor very shortly. Now, please help me welcome to the stage presenting sponsor representative, Ms. Guadalupe Acala, Assistant Vice President of Marketing of State Farm. Welcome.
Buenos dias, familia. Welcome, NALEO, to the 40th annual conference. It is a pleasure to be here with you. My name is Guadalupe Alcalá. I'm with State Farm, and on behalf of over 19,000 agents and nearly 62,000 employees, we are delighted to be here to welcome you today. Over the next few days, you will have the opportunity to engage in insightful discussions and attend thought-provoking sessions that will inform, inspire, and foster stronger connections. State Farm is proud and thankful for the 24-year relationship we have had with NALEO. We strongly support NALEO leadership through professional development and networking opportunities for Latina and Latino officials. Programs like the National Policy Institute on Emergency Preparedness, the Latino Economic Mobility and Workforce Institute, and professional development training centered on core leadership development and around governance skills such as finance, budgeting, ethics, and communications. State Farm is committed to helping NALEO educate Latino elected and appointed officials to make an impact in their local communities. For the past 101 years, State Farm has been making a positive impact in our communities where we live and where we work. Our employees and our agents seek to empower people to be good neighbors, to protect what matters most, and to build more resilient futures for themselves and for the others around them. Everything that we do at State Farm is focused on our purpose of building stronger neighborhoods together. Our customers and communities know that they can rely on us when disaster happens. They can count on State Farm for guidance on financial planning, insurance needs, and supporting community resiliency through recovery efforts. At State Farm, we don't wait for the next disaster to strike. We actually begin acting before they actually happen. We do this by helping customers reduce and prevent losses through preparedness and mitigation education. That's why today, State Farm Insurance is proud to sponsor the Emergency Preparedness Workshop and the NALEO Community Service Project during this conference. This year, all of you, everyone attending today throughout the next few days, will have the opportunity to participate in the disaster preparedness kits that will be assembled, and we invite you to be part of that on a break throughout the sessions, and you'll see it on the schedule. This is a way for us to come together to prepare kits that will be donated to Violence Integration Program. This is a Latina-led organization that provides healing, housing, and economic justice to the thousands of survivors, both immigrants and undocumented individuals of domestic and sexual violence here in New York City. I invite all of you to be part of this effort of preparing the kits. Because working together, we can all be good neighbors that make a difference in our communities. I'm counting on you to help us be part of creating those kits as an example of how we make our communities better. Welcome again to the conference, and I wish you a great experience. Thank you so much, and on behalf of State Farm, congratulations, NALEO, on 40 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Akala, and again, thank you, State Farm. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present now the great mayor of the Big Apple, the New York City Mayor, Eric Adams. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, and I'm sure as a national organization that many of you are from outside the city. We only have one ask of you, spend money, spend a lot of money. What an amazing organization, and I know I have a few of my leadership that's here, and I just want to acknowledge them if they're in the room or if they're on their way. The dean of my Latino, Hispanic representation, Commissioner Cortez Vasquez. She has been a longtime friend, colleague. Commissioner Carrion, who's in charge of HBD, our entire housing stock, and the first in the history of this city, Dominican, to be a deputy mayor in the city of New York, Deputy Mayor Amazar, who's here as well. But it doesn't stop there. When you look at my commissioner of the Department of Correction, first time in the history of this city, we have a person of Hispanic ancestry as the commissioner of the Department of Correction, Commissioner Molina. You will see in our administration, you will see folks who look like you, understand the same issues that we are all facing, and they bring the uniqueness of their life experiences to addressing the issues that we are facing. Far too often, people want to know what you did academically. I want to know what you did as emotional intelligence, not only academic intelligence. What are your life experiences? What did you see when I think of my deputy mayor watching her mother raise 10 siblings, her siblings, and what she brought to that, the challenges that we are facing. Having book smart is not what's needed right now. You better be street smart. You better be able to look at the real issues that are in front of us. And New York City is a microcosm of what's taking place across the entire country. as you look at the empowerment that you're reaching for, the upcoming national election. We cannot continue to wait election after election before we make a determination of getting the success we need. What happens in between those elections is crucial and it's important. We're dealing with real issues. The migrant crises that's sweeping the globe. Right here in New York, we have over 81,000 migrant and asylum seekers here. All want to do one thing: participate in the American dream. There is nothing more anti-American than coming to America and you don't have the right to work, that you cannot provide for your family, that you cannot participate in the American dream. That is anti-American. And we here in this city, as the mayor of the city of New York, we look across this entire country, the thousands of people from your community that are now in leadership positions, in governmental positions, school board, local elections, mayors, lawmakers, that entire combination. We must create one blueprint and operate from that blueprint. We cannot have a scattered and pray approach to governance. We must be focused, disciplined, ignore the noise, and make sure that we move 40 years later and reflect on where we are now. When I look at the thought of this organization 40 years ago, 1983, different place. We didn't have artificial intelligence. We didn't have the pandemic to come over. We weren't dealing with high levels of suicide with our young people. We were not dealing with fentanyl sweeping our entire nation. 40 years today, new problems. We're going to need new solutions. We must be bold, committed, unafraid, true, but most importantly, it must be you. This is an important community, and I see you as a partner as we move not only the city forward, but the country forward. Thank you for what you do. Continue to move forward for another 40 years of success, and I welcome you to this great city we call New York. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. That was the actual mayor. I'm not the mayor. That's the mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for being with us today. Now, I wanted to take a second again to introduce some of the special guests that we have with us today. Since we have to, as I stated earlier, we're incredibly proud to hold this conference in New York City for the first time ever. And I wanted to take a second to make sure that I introduce some of the local elected officials that are with us, who are our partners, as the mayor said, in making sure that our city is great. These are some of the Latino leaders who lead our state and some of the folks who have been part of this organization for a very long time. First of all, since I see the brother coming up, and you will see that there is a dress code that perhaps the gentleman did not necessarily. Oh, wait a minute. Say, are you the mayor? Is the governor here? Okay. This is live theater, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens. See, earlier when I did a whole thing, when I walked on as I was the mayor, I'm not the mayor. But I'm actually, so I have the honor, the distinct honor of introducing someone to you who made history when she became the first female governor of the state of New York, and somebody who shows a commitment to the Latino community by being here this morning, and that is our great governor, Kathy Hochul.
Live theater, Madam Governor.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Buenos dias. Bienvenidos a Nueva York, see? Well, I hope you're feeling the love of our great state and our city. I know you just heard from our dynamic mayor. Isn't he great? Let's give another round of applause to Mayor Eric Adams. And to Luby and to Arturo, who I just spoke to. I know this is the first time you've ever come to New York City. Was it that hard to find on a map? What took so long? What took so long to come, across the country? But it's not that far, but I can't tell you, we are overjoyed because our state, the leaders of our state, our key organizations from government to not-for-profits, all the way down to every position of influence, is filled with graduates from NALEO. That's just a statement of fact. You are everywhere, everywhere, including my administration. Secretary of State Rodriguez, Robert Rodriguez, where are you? Secretary of State, he's usually all over the state of New York. He's doing an incredible job. I know he came up through one of your programs to cultivate young leadership. Well done. He is a leader. You succeeded. He's done an incredible job for us. Also, I know Dr. Linares, who's a powerhouse in higher education here, also has served on your board, and he is proudly part of my administration as well as my Chief Diversity Officer, Julissa Gutierrez. Let's give a round of applause to the women who helped make this all happen. And there's some amazing elected officials in this community, and I don't know if he's in the room. He's often busy in Washington, but our Congressman, Adriano Espaillat. Are you here, Adriano, if you were here? All right. Oh, okay. He's waiting to come on. And Gustavo Rivera, you just heard from his leadership position here. Thank you, Gustavo. And Luisa Sepulveda, a great friend of ours in the legislature. Kenny Burgos is here, our assembly member. Jessica Gonzalez Rojas. We have so many people. But you didn't have me here just to read names, because you're going to hear from all of them personally. But I want to make sure that what you talk about over the course of this conference really take us to the next level. Because what I have seen in my life, and this is something I've been involved in causes since I was a little kid. My parents were those social justice, progressive Democrats living up in Buffalo. They lived in a trailer park. But they had this soul of people who thought they should do more. So I grew up not knowing what lettuce or grapes looked like, because they wanted to make sure that our family was participating in Cesar Chavez's boycott to support the farm workers in California. So that's where I come from. This is deep for me. We support each other. And these causes are so important. And when my dad worked at the steel plant, our community had a lot of children of migrant farm workers who had come to Buffalo to pick the crops. You don't know Buffalo has crops, do you? You don't even know this. Okay, I'm here to educate you about the entire state. It's not just New York City, team, okay? But we have a lot of fields, a lot of crops, strawberries, produce, tomatoes, corn. People came from all over, South America, Puerto Rico, Central America. They came to New York to work here, but they brought their kids. And my parents were so concerned about the plight of these children that my mom teamed up with one of those real progressive Catholic priests, and we found an abandoned basement in a little old school that was nothing in a community, and we made it a place of life. We started a summer camp for these children so they could come there and have music and teaching the English language and having a whole experience. My mother started this when she was 30 years old. And I was literally 8 years old. That's the kind of family I came from. And I'm so proud today, thank you. I'm so proud today to be in a position to help facilitate the conversations about how far the community has come after many years of struggle, many years of being held back, many years of not getting your seat at the table and having your voices heard. So this organization is the umbrella that is out there creating these forums to have these dialogues. But I'm not just a talker. And conversations are great, and we'll leave here today with some great ideas. But what's the action plan behind it? What are the goals we're setting? And given the population of the state of New York, for example, are there enough people in elected positions who have come from Hispanic and Latino backgrounds? Want to know my assessment? No. There's a lot more room for growth. There truly is. I want to see more representation, more voices lifted up, And that is my commitment to all of you. And I also don't even want to single out Latino issues. Latino issues are American issues. These are the issues that we talk about. Women deserve to not worry about dying in childbirth because of the color of their skin, okay? Let's get that out there. Children should not be held back from a high-quality education because their parents came here not speaking the language. We should never, ever have lower standards. In fact, they should be higher because this is what New York has always been about, our country has been about, raising people up, lifting people's standards of living, giving them a great quality of life. So I want to make sure that Latinos have a fair say in these issues, because when we lift this community up, they lift themselves with our support as allies. The whole country is lifted up. How is that not so self-evident? And that is what I want to have continue to focus on. So what I'm seeing now are more attacks. I mean, we just start with the Supreme Court of the United States. Another bad month of June. Last year I thought was as bad as it can get. This year they're trying to outdo that one. I wish you could go right from May to July, don't you? Just kind of skip June before they come down with their decisions where they're taking away our reproductive freedoms. They're taking away universities' opportunities to help give people a little leg up with affirmative action programs, because they're assuming everything's perfect in this country. Does anybody think it's perfect in America today? No. Wake up, Supreme Court. We still have progress, and you're standing in the way. That is our challenge. So I'll do my part, and when I'm lifting up people for appointments for judges and for cabinet positions, I need allies to get them over the finish line, because I'll keep doing that, because I know the value. I know what it's like to walk through the streets of the Bronx. People want to know that their government has representatives who look like them. This is important, but it also inspires the next generation to want to step up and say, yeah, I can do that too. The more barriers that are broken down, the more chances we have for people to see in themselves the potential to do great things. And that is why people make a big deal about me being the first woman governor of New York. Yes, it's nice, it's great, but let me tell you, let me tell you this. It has never been about making history. It is about making a difference. And if my presence here means that more little girls, black, brown, white, Asian, they see themselves in higher roles where they've not had role models before, then that is what I'm striving for. That is what I'm trying to do. And NALEO knows that. You know that. You need to have more leaders in visible, high-profile positions to inspire young people to want to be there the next generation. That's what you do every single day. And I'll be there to support you, continuing voting rights, making sure that we have access to the ballot box, because the unleashed power of the Latino community at the ballot box is so incredible, incredible. And I know you're not a partisan group, right? I'm just making sure. But I, as the leader of a particular party in the state of New York, want to harness that power. I'll just put that out there. I want to make sure, because I believe there's a synergy between our values and what we're fighting for. And it all happens about who we elect and making sure there's access to everyone to have that God-given right to vote. And so I thank you all for leading the charge. I thank you all for Arturo, 29 years. I understand for 29 years you've been trying to come to New York. I'm glad you got the GPS and you got the ticket and you found your way to New York. Welcome, everybody. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much for being here, Governor. And as I said, it's important to have a presence here this morning, and that is a recognition of the importance not only of the Latino community, but this organization. So again, let's give it up for Governor Kathy Hochul. Now, on behalf of NALEO and the NALEO Educational Fund, I would like to emphasize, as I did earlier, the distinct honor that it is to host our conference here in the city of New York. This is the home of Ellis Island, the Statue of Liberty, the United Nations headquarters, the boogie down Bronx, the birthplace of hip hop 50 years ago this year. Oh yeah, can't forget that. And it has a long history of embracing diversity, including that of our city's Latino leaders and policymakers, leaders like all of you across the country. You benefit your cities, you benefit your communities. And so here, they make New York City a perfect host location for our annual conference. And right now, I have the privilege of inviting a few of these leaders. See, now it's the actual time when it's supposed to happen, not earlier. So you notice that there's a change of program, meaning this is when it's actually supposed to happen. So inviting a few of these leaders to help welcome you to our state and the Big Apple. So everyone, I want to introduce them in honor that they're going to be speaking, and that is from the 13th, the fighting 13th, representative of the 13th Congressional District, the Honorable Adriano Espaillat. Our Secretary of State, Robert Rodriguez. The Honorable Jessica Gonzalez Rojas, New York State Assembly member from Queens. And as I stated earlier, for the guy who really got the memo about the dress code, Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso. He's really bringing Brooklyn, this guy, very well. We are also joined by a couple of my colleagues who shall not be speaking, but I want to make sure that I recognize them. My colleague, State Senator Luis Sepulveda, also from the Bronx. A gentleman who I call the prettiest man in show business, and that is Assemblymember Kenny Burgos. Look at this beautiful man. And from far off Buffalo, not my cousin, but still a cool dude, that is Assemblymember John Rivera.
Thank you. Buenos dias. I think Borough President Reynoso also came on his bike. The question is, did he wear his helmet? Well, buenos días todos y bienvenido a Nueva York. Y le voy a pedir que a la persona que está a su lado, que no habla español, que por favor ustedes le puedan traducir. Nueva York es una ciudad llena de diversidad y aquí la comunidad puertorriqueña baila salsa. La comunidad mexicana baila su mariachi. La comunidad colombiana baila su cumbia y vallenato. La dominicana baila su merengue y su bachata. Pero tocamos los mismos instrumentos. Y por esa razón debemos de luchar para mantener nuestra unidad. Y yo sé que la comunidad latina no es sencillamente de un solo tema de migración. Es de salud, es de educación, de infraestructura, de derechos civiles. Pero sí, la inmigración es emblemática de nosotros. Es un tema que nos define como comunidad. Y cerca de aquí, en la calle 45, está el Hotel Roosevelt, donde hay centenares de familias que cruzan la frontera diariamente buscando una esperanza. ¿Y qué es lo que conmueve a una madre? Que la pandilla trata de reclutar a su niño de 13 años y camina cientos de miles de millas con sus 3 niños para buscar la esperanza. ¿O qué es lo que motiva a una persona que deja su país porque hay una crisis de democracia, ni siquiera ideológica de la derecha o de la izquierda, sino de falta de oportunidades? ¿O qué es lo que motiva a una familia que deja su país, su hogar, su pueblo, porque hay una crisis ambiental, de sequía, de tornado, de huracán, para buscar la esperanza? Ese hotel es nuestra Ellis Island. Y yo no lo veo como una crisis. Yo lo veo como una gran oportunidad. Y estoy seguro que esa nueva ola de migrantes van a definir de nuevo esta gran ciudad y que le van a inyectar nuevas ideas, nuevas energías, nuevas oportunidades para la economía, fortalecer la diversidad de esta ciudad, que es la fuerza, no la debilidad de ella. Y todos nosotros tenemos una responsabilidad de mantener esa puerta abierta todo el tiempo, todo el tiempo. De manera que gracias a mis colegas por estar aquí hoy, y vamos a seguir esa lucha, que es una lucha sin duda para el futuro de todos nosotros, y que se define con un concepto muy americano que es oportunidad para todos nosotros. Que Dios me lo bendiga a todos y que disfruten de esta conferencia. God bless you.
Good morning, everyone. It's always great to go after my Congressman Espaillat. I'm Secretary of State Robert Rodriguez, and it's an honor to be here with you at the 40th annual conference. I want to give a special shout out to my colleagues in government because I think it is representative of the diversity that we bring. I want to recognize John Rivera, Senator Luis Sepúlveda, Guillermo Linares, who was mentioned, Assemblymember Kenny Burgos, Antonio Reynoso, the MC of today's activity, Senator Rivera, Assemblywoman González Rojas, and of course to NALEO and Arturo Vargas and to Luby Navarro and the team at NALEO who are putting forward this really wonderful event. I think what's most important is you've heard a number of themes already emerge from the conversation, and really it's about unity and making sure that doors are kept open. That is the mission that NALEO has undertaken for almost 40 years, bringing tremendous leadership to this stage. We have heard from presidents, vice presidents, we have heard from senators, we've heard from governors, we've heard from mayors who are receiving the message that the Latino community matters, that we are garnering strength, as you see by the numbers, in elected representation. But we are doing that to empower our communities, to give a voice to the Latino community, to the people that we represent, to making sure that diversity is heard. I took on that mission 11 years ago as an assembly member and walked through the doors of NALEO in their elected official training, and through that experience found the camaraderie, found the skills, found the mentorship, found the direction to be able to best represent our communities. Many of us have that similar experience, and that's the value that NALEO provides, that all of you participate in. And what's especially important now more than ever at this moment in time, unity amongst ourselves as a community and the development of allies who understand our cause is what's needed to move our community forward. When we see the court changing, the Supreme Court changing and making decisions that are throwing away years, legacies of inclusion, years of trying to create a more equitable and inclusive society, we are the folks that must be on those front lines helping to empower our community and move the Latino agenda forward. We can't do that without NALEO. We can't do that without you. We can't do that without the help of our sponsors. So take this opportunity to learn, to share, and to really develop the relationships that are necessary to move your communities further and forward. So thank you, NALEO, for this opportunity. Thank you for being here, finally, in New York City, and giving us the opportunity to host you, to welcome you, and to show you what makes diversity and what makes Latinos great here in this great state of New York. Thank you.
Bienvenido a la Gran Manzana! Good morning, everyone. Come on, let's have some café. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, thank you. My name is Assemblymember Jessica González Rojas. I proudly represent Queens. Any Queens in the house? Queens get the money. So, standing on stage today to welcome you all to New York is so incredibly special for me because exactly 25 years ago, I was in the audience in Houston, Texas, at my very first NALEO conference. And I wasn't a policymaker, I wasn't an elected official, I wasn't a nonprofit executive. I was a recent college graduate who was selected in the 1998 NALEO Legislative Internship Program. Some of you I remember from 1998. This was an internship program where I had the immense honor of working for La Luchadora and one of my sheroes, Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez. I credit NALEO for breaking doors open for me, for laying the groundwork for where I am today, on stage, 25 years later, as the first Latina elected in the 34th Assembly District in Queens, one of the most diverse districts in the most diverse borough in the world. More than 1 in 2 residents are Latinx in my district, hailing from countries like Colombia, Peru, Dominican Republic, and Ecuador. But I also represent immigrants from countries like Bangladesh, from Greece, from Nepal, and from Egypt. And that's why I fight so relentlessly for immigrant justice, and why I'm the assembly sponsor of Coverage for All, alongside my colleague, Senator Gustavo Rivera. It is a bill that would allow undocumented New Yorkers to enroll in New York State's essential health plan like they do in Colorado. Where's Colorado? In Washington State, in Illinois, and California. Thank you, colleagues, for doing that work. We're trying to catch up, y'all. It is more important than ever to show our collective power, because as a nation that does not provide basic needs to every single one of us, that moves us backwards and overturns our rights, it is truly not a nation for all of us. But we will make it a nation for all of us. A coalition can be built today. It starts today, my friends. The learning, the organizing over the next few days must happen while we're here all together in New York. Pa'lante, mi gente. Juntos, pa'lante, juntos, mi gente. Gracias, NALEO, and welcome to New York City.
Good morning y bienvenidos. I am Antonio Reynoso. I am the president of the greatest borough in the city of New York, which is Brooklyn, first and foremost. That goes over well in Brooklyn. I was with NALEO 9 years ago when I first got elected to the city council in Brooklyn. And NALEO helped me progress and learn and take on new challenges and tools to prepare me for a career in politics. And I'm extremely and deeply grateful for the work that NALEO did for me. And I believe a part of why I'm here is because of the effort that organizations like this, but specifically NALEO, did for me. So I want to say first, thank you to NALEO. Another thing is, to everyone that is in here, take advantage of it. Build, use this network. It is valuable. We are powerful. We are power, and we need to take advantage of that. Another thing that I think is deeply important is that we have to start moving away from strictly identity politics and start moving into being more. I represent a borough, the largest borough in the city of New York, with 2.6 million people. Out of those 2.6 million people, only 14% are Latino. I am Dominican, so even less, 4% of that borough is Dominican. I didn't get elected because of what I looked like. I got elected because of what I believe in. And that is deeply important. If we're ever going to make the jump into taking on positions of citywide, statewide, and nationally, we need to start thinking about how we can build our tent larger. And we, as Latinos who have come, most of us have come from different countries, or parents that have come from different countries to make the American dream work for us here. We know how it works better than anyone. We've taken advantage of it. We've built power. We've built influence. We can show people what the future of this country should be because we want to pay forward what it gave to us. We're the most equipped to make that happen. So let's beyond identity politics, because I'm proud to be Dominican. Gracias, thank you. I'm proud to be Dominican. The congressman was talking about salsa and bachata, about merengue and bachata. I'm more dembow now because, you know, he's from a different generation. It's okay. I'm gonna tell you about, when I was 18 years old, entering college, I wanted to be the first Dominican congressman in the history of the United States. It was my dream. And Adriana took it away from me. So I decided to be the first Dominican borough president in the city of New York. But we got more work to do. I want to thank you all. Dios me lo bendiga. Don't forget to spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Thank you so much.
Thank you to our New York elected officials for those remarks. And now, let's give a big round of applause to NALEO and NALEO Educational Fund CEO, Arturo Vargas.
Buenos dias, mi gente. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the 40th Annual NALEO Conference in New York City. I want to start off by saying thank you to our special guests who were here, to Governor Kathy Hochul, Congressman Adriano Espaillat, Secretary of State Robert Rodriguez, Assembly Member Jessica Gonzalez Rojas, Brooklyn President Antonio Reynoso, and of course, Mayor Eric Adams for being such great hosts of us and welcoming us to this fabulous city. Now, just to correct the record, I know where New York City is. GPS was not the issue. But we're so happy to be here. And you know, just witnessing what we just saw on the stage just reminds me of what it means to be part of the NALEO network. To see two alumni of the NALEO National Institute for Newly Elected Officials now serve in positions such as the Secretary of State of New York and the President of the Brooklyn Bronx. And alumni of our internship program to be a leader of the New York State Assembly. It just speaks volumes about what it means to be part of this organization. So if you are here for your first NALEO conference, please take it all in like a sponge. Meet everybody that you can who has come here from across the country to be part of one of the most powerful networks in American politics today. I also want to recognize 3 of my former colleagues who worked in the New York office here for NALEO Educational Fund, putting on citizenship workshops to help lawful permanent residents become U.S. citizens, doing voter outreach campaigns, getting people counted in the census, who now themselves are doing amazing leadership work. Individuals such as Julissa Ferreras Copeland, who ran our New York office, went on to be elected to the New York City Council and chair the Finance Committee. Julissa Gutierrez, who also ran our New York office, is now the Chief Diversity Officer for the state of New York. And Ana Almanzar, who just a few weeks ago was appointed Deputy Mayor for Strategic Initiatives here in the city of New York. All of them former colleagues of ours at NALEO Educational Fund. And that's only made possible because of your investment in our work and the support of our sponsors. So a special thank you to State Farm for having been our presenting sponsor for this conference and with us this morning. Now, some general housekeeping sessions. This is going to end our opening plenary. I think it's been a great start to the conference so far. We will have breakout sessions beginning at 10:30 on the 7th floor. You can get there in 2 ways, either the escalators towards the back or up the elevators. Be sure to visit the Service Project booth on the 7th floor. We will be assembling wellness kits for an organization called Violence Intervention Program. It's a nonprofit organization here in New York City that is serving Latinas and their families who are victims of domestic abuse, we will ask you to help us put together wellness kits. We want to put 600 of them together over the course of the next 3 days. So please visit the Service Project booth, and there's be an opportunity for you to write a little note to somebody who will be receiving that kit to hopefully give them a sense of inspiration. And then there's an opportunity for you to also write on a Post-it note to honor a Latina in your life who has inspired you in your work as well. So that's on the 7th floor, along with our breakout sessions. Then join us back here at noon, when we're going to have our National Leadership Luncheon and Plenary. We have another exciting program for you. We will have a session on the New York City's Latino diaspora, hosted by Telemundo and sponsored by Toyota. We're excited to hear welcome remarks by U.S. Representative Nanette Diaz-Barragan, the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus and a member of the NALEO Board of Directors. We'll have video remarks from New York's U.S. Senators Charles Schumer and Kristen Gillibrand, and from Congressman Richie Torres. And then we'll end it with a panel discussion moderated by Monica Gil, Executive Vice President, Chief Administrative and Marketing Officer for NBC Universal Telemundo Enterprises, and featuring Dr. Felix Matos Rodriguez, Chancellor of the University of New York, and Ms. Grace Bonilla, President and CEO of United Way of New York City. Whew, that's a lot. Finally, at 5 p.m. this evening, join us for our opening reception, which will be on the 9th floor. It's on the terrace. Don't worry, it's indoors. We will be celebrating and honoring New York's elegance with a black and white affair. It's not black tie, but it's black and white. So bring your best black and white attire for that evening. Again, welcome to this conference. Please enjoy the NALEO 40th Annual Conference.